To a beautiful Thursday afternoon. I'm glad we can be together here and sharing this time. I realize I haven't just kind of played some old hymns for a while, and I know a lot of you are, as I am, are big fans of some of the classic hymns in our United Methodist hymnal. And I was out walking today, and I walked a little extra to a park I just discovered yesterday, and I was overwhelmed by the beauty of God's creation, and it's just a beautiful day. The weather was perfect, and felt good to be out in the air. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just play some hymns about creation. I know I did Earth Day a week ago, so there were some hymns there, but I'm going to play 3 hymns that are about just the wonder of God's creation. The first one it's called "This Is My Father's World," and I would encourage you to expand that to "This is my mother's world." This is our Creator's world. Thinking of God as Father is a helpful image for a lot of people, but also it's a limiting image, because God is much more than just Father. God is Father and Mother, and sometimes friend, and sometimes this great mystery. And I think it's great to expand our image of God as much as we can. But it's a wonderful hymn, and you can play that, and then I'm going to play "For the Beauty of the Earth," and then all things bright and beautiful. All I can think of is all creatures great and small. So 3 hymns that are about just the wonder of God's creation, and I hope they help you reflect on how blessed we are, and what a wonder this creation is that we are a part of. And that God is part of us, and God is part of each part of creation, and together we celebrate the one who created us. So glad you're here. so grateful that we share this creation together. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful day. Stay safe, stay connected. We'll be back together next Tuesday, but be here on Sunday for worship and celebrating God together then. Take care, friends. Good to be with you. See you soon. Bye.